Yo, what is up? I'm Zach. Welcome back to my channel of RWBY Mythology. Today I'm bringing you guys part 1 of What If I Was in RWBY, the 1K special. Again, I want to say thank you guys for getting me to 1K subs. I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me. Again, this is going to be part 1. I'm going to try my best to make more parts as possible. It depends on the ideas I have in mind. I want to continue on this scenario as I possibly can. So I want this to be good. And if you guys saw my community tab, you guys basically know. And of course, you guys can know what the ship is. So it's best I give you guys a rundown who the character is. So basically, his name is Zach Morok, male, age 16, human, birth home, Atlas, living and raised and live at Mistral, and his weapon called Pitch Black, a dark magic sword. His semblance is Umbria Kinesius, basically shadow manipulation, and his love interest is going to be Ruby Rose. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to try to build up his origin, and we're just going to see how this plays out. So without the way, let's just go ahead and dive into it. We started the story at Atlas, the kingdom of, well, Atlas of the Schnee and the Atlas military, with a two lovely couple, David Morok and Rosa Morok. When they were about to give birth to their first child, a good healthy boy, they named him Zach Morok. After they gave birth to their child, both the parents decided to move out of Atlas to live at Mistral, aka Haven Academy. And Zach's father, who is part of the Atlas military, so basically it's like his job. He goes to his job as a military soldier, and whenever he gets paid or whatever, he sends it to his beloved wife, so she could take care of Zach and basically for the money for Zach, so she can raise him and take care of him, etc. And for the past few years, Zach has grown and grown to, you know, love the good life and Mitchell made some good friends instead of being going to school. And he does get to see his father only on his birthday and the holidays. Sorry. He doesn't see him as much, but he only does get to see him like again in his birthdays and his holiday on the holidays, and uh, along with the letters and some messages to check on his family, etc. And when not Cage, I'm gonna keep saying that a lot. I'm gonna keep that in mind. Zach gets older and grows up where he unlocks his aura and his semblance, which is evolved shadow manipulation. Basically, he can manipulate any shadows to the top of his mind, like making shadow clones, black tendrils, and hiding in the shadow. So that's basically what his semblance could do. And then when he got older, he's trying to find some weapon. When he got older, he goes to the training academy at, well, here at Mitchell. And Zach has a difficult time to find a weapon that will be suited for him. So after he gets done with his training academy, well, after his school in the training academy, Cage trying to think, I need a weapon, but none of the weapons actually suits me. Until he hears a call in a deep, like behind the waterfall, that he always goes there to clear his mind and, feel at peace when he's a bit stressed. He hears someone's calling him, and he's wondering who's calling him. And it keeps calling, and it keeps calling. So he can hear that it's behind the waterfall. As he goes to the waterfall, he sees something that was just there. A weapon stabbed through a rock. and he can see only a glowing purple gem. And he got closer to it, and he sees it's a sword just left there. And Zach is wondering, does anyone knew about this? Like, how come no one actually knew there was a weapon down here? So Zach grabs it and pulls it out from the rock, kind of like King Arthur, so to speak. And once it's finally free, the sword is now his, because it's been centuries since anyone lifted the dark magic sword, which Zach doesn't know what it is. Then, in another school, Beacon Academy, Osmond felt the present, but he's not the only one who felt this present. It's also Salem. They never felt this kind of magic since, well, their time. So, once he leaves and takes the sword back home, and how is he going to explain this to his mother? That, oh, I just found this sword, place it on the rock and behind the waterfall. Yeah, that would be crazy to believe that. So let's just say he just got a weapon that is suited for him. So he needs to come up with the name of the weapon. But the way it looks and design and has a purple gem, and he want to see what this sword is capable of. And when he see what the sword can do, this sword is just not your typical sword. This sword has power. It has magic to it. When he use it and wield it, it can shoot out dark magic. Like dark magic, energy projectile, lightning, and basically it. And Zach is just amazed of the sword. So he's gonna call it Pitch Black. The Pitch Black. So that's what he's gonna name it. So basically, once he does his training in his training academy, until one of his teachers calls him that someone wants to see him, which is Professor Ozpin from the Beacon Academy. So not Cage, oh my god. I don't know why I keep saying Cage. Sorry, I'm so used of saying Cage multiple times, and it's hard to say different name. So you guys are gonna get used to me calling Zach Cage. Like, it's so fucking annoying. So Zach get to meet Professor Ozpin. And also, Zach is at the age of 16. So basically, one more year until he's fully graduated. So basically, Ozpin wants to have a war with him. That, like, he heard a lot of great things about him, and he noticed about the sword. And he have a word with him privately, say, "Do you know what that sword is, young man?" And Zach was like, "I don't know. I just found it behind the waterfall. It was calling to me." And Ozpin thinks on this. It seemed the sword chosen you as his wielder. Like, and Zach was like, "Do you know what this is?" And Ozpin was like, "Yes, that, young man, is a dark sword. Very dark and powerful. It seems like it chose you as his wielder, as a master. Since it's called you, it seems that there's something this sword once belonged to someone that I wonder who." And Zach thinks on something like, what does this mean? And basically, Ozpin tells him about the story about the sword. That the sword once belonged to the great dark warrior, the Dark Knight. Ever since the first war of, well, the humans, the the war against every single kingdom, there's always one warrior who wielded that magic sword, a dark knight, a dark warrior. And once he died in battle, the first thing he did just leave his magical sword here in Mistral until someone is worthy or his bloodline descent. So we just have to find out if Zach is the successor or the the blood descendant of this Dark Knight. So basically, Ozpin asks Zach to tap the tip of the blade and let the blade have your blood. Like, basically, Zach is a bit confused, but he does anyway. So he tapped the blade, the tip of the blade, and placed his finger on the gem of the sword, and the sword started to glow. It's like it is absorbing his blood, and then there's a logo, like different language of Osman have never seen before, that has been translated to Morok. And Cage's Zach's eyes widened that this sword belonged to his ancestor, like in the past. So basically, this sword is belonged to the Morok family, and Zach is related to the Dark Knight, the Dark Warrior. And once he see that, the name just disappeared. So the sword is basically a family heirloom. So yeah, and Ozpin actually has a offer if he wants to come to his school at Beacon Academy, which Zach actually stunned. Like he wants, like at first he wants to go to Haven Academy or Atlas Academy so he can be with his father, or say at Mistral at Haven Academy to stay with his mother. But at Beacon Academy, I mean, he still haven't finished his training academy. But Ozpin got the green light to his teacher that you are ready to be at my school, or any school of that matter. So Zach chose to go to Beacon Academy. So later on in the story, basically like the events of Volume 1. So basically Zach is kind of felt like, wow, be on my own, honestly. And seeing all the whole commotion with the two girls, the red hair and the blonde hair. And when Zach looked at the red hair girl, his heart kind of skipped a beat. Like, wow, she's cute. I guess them two are related. And then when they arrived to the Beacon Academy, a blonde hair boy just rushed out and started to vomit. And basically, Zach is taking this all in to that he's here at Beacon Academy. And he knows, like, this school is basically one of the best schools in all the kingdoms. And basically, some of the events do play out as the original until Zach learns that he needs to be part of a team, which is a huge problem here. So Zach does get involved and meeting the other characters like Ruby, Yang, Weiss, Blake, John, Ren, Nora, and Pyrrha. He does get to meet them, but when everyone returns, Team Ruby and Team Juniper has been formed, and he does get to hear their names for the first time. And Zach is the only one who doesn't have a team. Oh, wow. That's um that's kind of bummer. So Ozpin decided to do something that never happened for years. So Ozpin makes announced to everyone since Zach Morag doesn't have a team, we might as well put him in a team that has already been formed. So Zach Morag will be part of Team RWBY, known as Team Rubies. Basically, Rubies, but with a Z at the end instead of an S. So for the first time, 5 members of Team Rubies. And Zach is kind of stunned that he's gonna be teaming up with the 4 girls and be the only guy. Like, oh wow. And so basically, this just kind of felt weird that he's surrounded with 4 girls. And of course, it is kind of making feel comfortable. And Yang being like, he's kind of cute, kind of handsome. And why? So it's like, what is up with him? Why does he wear always black? And Blake was like, what's wrong with that? And Ruby's like, I don't know. I think he's kind of cutest too. And Yang just like messed with her. Like, oh, I think my little sister have a crush now. Wait, shut up, Yang. And Ruby just like brushed it off. Like, Sir Zach Morok? Yeah, I am. It's kind of weird that I'm the only guy here in this team. Huh. So basically, the whole thing plays the events for, you know, why thinks that she should have been the leader instead of Ruby, that whole fiasco. Basically, Volume 1 kind of plays out the same. It's just Cage is not Cage. Zach is kind of feeling, you know, uncomfortable, but being part of a team with 4 girls. And then later on in the story, he sees how Cardinal is being bullied to John, and now bullying Velvet. Yeah, Cage is gonna step in. So when he grabbed Velvet's hair, he grabbed Carter's arm and tries to break it and use his shadow semblance to shape into like a claw and squeeze it even harder. And Cardinal is like, "Hey, let go of my arm, you asshole! You like messing with fondnesses? You like messing with girls, huh? You like bullying people? How about I put you in your place?" And Zach will try to break his arm and throws him to the side. And Connor is screaming in pain while his team rush to him. And yeah, when they see what Cage is capable of, and Blake just basically kind of smile that, yeah, he kind of deserve it. I like this guy already. And Velvet telling Zan that thanks for stepping up for her, and was that really necessary? Zach says like, well, I don't like when people bullying Faunus's or being disrespectful to the Faunus people. They deserve they deserve to be treated better. They deserve to be treated like a normal person. And Blake, when she heard this, you know, now there's 2 people that could treat Faunus like a normal person. Yang and Zach. They So Zach just treating Blake like a normal person. And Zach can tell that Blake is a movie. He catch that pretty quickly. He doesn't say it. So basically, um, and Zach wants to help John to, you gotta stand up for yourself, dude. You can't just be like someone bully you. And then Cardinal decided to just back off and stay away. And when Pyrrha learns about that John kind of cheated his way into school, and Zach heard all that, yeah, he's gonna have a word with John, like, dude, that's kind of fucked up what you did. So if you want to apologize, Pyrrha, apologize everything, dude. Okay, sorry about that. And so basically, and later that night, Zack and Pyrrha are going to train John. And Zack does build up some friendship with the Team RWBY, his team, and Team Jennifer. And let's just say, every time RWBY and Zack always along together, they kind of start blushing a bit. Like, Zack sees RWBY as, well, so cute, and RWBY felt the same way, but they don't say it. And yeah, kind of like teasing them just for the hell of it. So then they meet, see Sun just run by, come across Penny, and of course we have Weiss and Blake biting each other's head, and Zack is on the side with Blake, like, you know, why do you hate Fauna so much, and why do you despise them? So Weiss tells him, like, because of the history with my family. And then when Blake exposes her that she's a faunus, yeah, that all happened. So basically, everyone has to go after her to find Blake, like the original. And Weiss just being a smartass, and Cage kind of tells him, guys, I kind of know, and I kind of knew that Blake was a faunus the whole time. Both the three girls looked at him and was like, wait, you're serious? And you didn't say nothing? Yeah, I didn't want to push any boundaries or invade her business. And Yang was like, wait, how did you know she was a faunus? Her bow? It was moving. Like, her bow was moving? Oh. Cat ears. Yeah. I caught that very quickly when I first saw her. When I first met her. The first one I met y'all. So basically the fight goes out like the original, and we see Zack in action against some of the White Fang members with his sword and his siblings. Basically more skillful and deadly in a way. So the ending in Volume 1 kind of plays out the same, honestly. It's just Zack involved, etc. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna end this here. It's basically just cover his origin and Volume 1 because there's really not much else to change, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna end this here. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channel, my social medias will be down below the description box. You guys know the drill. Links to my Cash App, PayPal, Ko-fi will be down below the description box and in my bio if you guys want to donate to support the channel. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. RWBY is love, RWBY is life. Keep moving forward, and I'll see you guys later.